The people never been a problem for me. The biggest problem for me has been their dogs.
Did they tell you, oh, they don't bite?
He's fine. I had someone telling me that why the dog is hanging from my hand. I'm like, can you get him?
Didn't that just happen?
Yeah, it literally did.
Was it you? It was you, right? You fell.
It was me. Yeah, I fell. Boom, hit me in the back of the head. Then I fall through the attic. My dad, he stole like a bunch of money from me. You get what I'm saying? And then all that happened in life just seemed like it was just plummeting down. Like everything was just being taken away. I was just losing it all, but it was really just going through a time in life where it's like, I need to rebuild you back up.
Hola, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Reliable Trades podcast. I'm your host, Adrian, and I'm an HVAC business owner here in South Texas. Plenty of good conversations to be had with good people and a lot of good stories that maybe you would relate to. And if you're listening to this on Spotify, Apple Podcast, any other location, please leave us a review. We hope to earn those 5 stars, and I really have fun doing this podcast. I appreciate everybody that watches or listens and makes this what it is. I also want to thank our sponsors that help keep this thing going. Jobber is our favorite CRM. I've tried different ones until finding Jobber that kind of controls the chaos that it is running a business and still being in the field and trying to get all the billing, quoting, submitting everything that you need to do outside of the field. And with Jobber, we do our maintenance contracts, we do our invoicing, our quoting, following up with customers to get reviews. That has helped our business a lot. So check out Jobber for yourself, see if it helps your business. You get a 2-week free trial and a special discount if you use the link down below. Vito Pro Pack is also a supporter, and I can tell you right now, even though I see a bunch of competitors coming into the field, they are still hands down the best tool bags that you can buy. You won't want to use any other tool bag. And the thing is, they have so many products now that you can find the one that is perfect for you. So make sure to check out Vito Pro Pack at your supply house or go to vitopropack.com. True Tech Tools has a lot of their stuff as well. Go check out their website to make sure that you can find the perfect bag for yourself. You won't regret it. Diversitech is probably in a lot of y'all's vans. I have almost something from all of those brands in my van ever since we've started. Packard is a big one for us as far as parts. They usually have something that we would need on a day-to-day basis. They are your one-stop shop for everything HVAC, and they have you covered for your everyday HVAC needs. And we're also brought to you by Pro IQ. Loyalty starts with trust. The new Honeywell Home Elite Pro smart thermostat that is powered by Pro IQ services increases customer loyalty by placing that company logo, that custom message, and contact information right on the thermostat and the First Alert app, keeping your company in front and center with customers. Check out more at residio.com/ProIQ. What is up, David? How are you?
Man, everything is going great. I'm so happy to be here. I'm excited.
So I just want to kind of start off by saying I'm a huge fan of what you're doing with your content. And I know you've been blowing up quite a bit here and there. What platforms do you post on? Because I know you from Instagram.
Yeah. So I started with Instagram, and that's what we're growing on the most. I have spilled over to YouTube Shorts a lot because I'm like, man, if I'm making this content, we're going to try to put it everywhere. But for right now, Instagram.
So no Facebook, no TikTok?
No, it's so crazy because I forget that Instagram and Facebook are like the same but different.
Yeah.
Now when I just post it on Instagram, it just goes to Facebook automatically.
So you have it set up already.
And I was thinking about doing another 10K giveaway for Facebook because the one that we did for Instagram, it was pretty huge.
What did you give away?
We gave away a Vito bag. Well, we actually gave away 2 Vito bags.
Oh, okay.
For the 10K giveaway. And my guy Jay New HVAC, he won a Vito bag. And there was another young man, but
I remember seeing your videos on that. But yeah, one of the things that I like about your content is you do, and I always tell people, like, do your own thing, do what you like. You don't have to copy somebody else. You don't have to be like anybody else. I fell into that trap because when I started on YouTube, I was trying to be like Chris Stevens, because that's the kind of work that I do, like quality HVAC and Tito Tito Vlogs. I know he changed his name a couple times, but like those are the guys that I watch, and I'm like, I can't be like them. I'm not that good. I'm not this and that. But then you go your own route, you go your own
Mhm.
style, and then
Yes.
you get more comfortable. So like you do a lot of this like storytelling in your
Yes.
videos, and it's like B-roll working, and there's a
Mhm.
story to everything, which
There's
I've never
definitely
seen before, but I love listening to those. Like it's good content.
absolutely, and it makes so much sense because I'm mostly residential right now. We're mostly residential. And as we know, every single call, someone has a
Mm.
story, they have an experience, it's something, and it's really, and that's why the content is so great because it's not anything you can make up. Like you can't make up these stories, like you can only get the experience from being
But
with these people else.
yeah, but it's also, I mean, the story is one thing, but it's also the storyteller because you have done those videos where like, I have never had this happen before. It sounds like really bad. And it's like, oh, they were thankful or they invited me to breakfast or whatever. Like
Yeah.
those are
Yes.
funny, but cool little stories and tidbits to, somebody that might be starting out or getting into that
Yeah.
space.
No, really. And I'm gonna tell you why I really started the content. I started the content because I'm in New Orleans, Louisiana. And out here, we have a lot of AC companies. And when I was first starting out, I started AC when I had nothing. I'm sure you probably heard it on a couple of my
Mm.
posts. Like life got really, really, really tough for my wife and I. And we were like door dashing and doing the
Oh,
Amazon grocery delivery and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, hey, look, if we can tough it out and do this, we're going to do HVAC. And every time we would stack up our money, we go buy some gauges. We'll stack up our money and we'll go buy like a impact. You get what I'm saying? And now I look at those same tools every day and I'm like, man, like it really brought us so far. And I can even go further into why life got tough.
yeah.
So I used to have a family. It's crazy that we're saying this on Father's Day. I don't know if you want to timestamp it like that,
Yeah.
on Father's Day, but a couple years ago, my dad, he stole like a bunch of money from me. You get what I'm saying? And it
From
was,
you.
yeah, from me
Oh,
personally.
shit.
Yeah. Since we have the same name, he could like walk into the bank and, like, oh yeah, this is my account. It's funny
Yeah.
now.
Okay. Yeah.
It's
Now,
funny now.
yeah.
At the time, it was like life changing, because before I got into HVAC, you can say I was a successful GC and all of that. And I liked it. I didn't love it. If you know anything about HVAC, it's never the same thing twice. When you're a GC, all you're doing is finding the crew, subbing it out, putting them on boring stuff. So life got really, really, really tough around that time. And it just brought me all the way down and all the way back to the beginning. And I always said, if I could start over, I'm doing HVAC. If I could start over, I'm doing HVAC.
Did you
Once,
see anything like, do you know anybody that did HVAC or like what made
yeah,
you so
yeah.
fascinated with it?
So it's crazy because I grew up in a construction family, right? And with heat being like our number one problem all the time, people say, you're in construction. Can you do this for my AC system? And I would tell them, like, no, I don't know anything about HVAC. No, I can't do it. But they would beg me and beg me. So I'm like, all right, cool. So it almost forced me to get
Yeah.
like a little introduction into it, you know, and then I do certain things and I'll get familiar with the process. Then I start watching YouTube videos on it. Then I start getting curious. I'm like, man, if I could start over in any type of way, I'm doing HVAC. So when that really, really hard time and tough time came and, we lost our house, we lost our apartment and all that kind of stuff. And I was just sitting in my in-laws' house and I said, you know what? It's time to do HVAC. That's what it is. And here we are.
I mean, the whether cliche, but if there's a will, there's a way, right? You have to see the light at the end of the tunnel. You have to kind of manifest these things. Like they don't just happen overnight. And did you fall into, or like you said, you lost your house or all that stuff? Was that because of the money that you lost?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Damn.
Yep. Yeah. It was because of that. Whether we want to call it lost, stolen, borrowed, and never given back, whatever
Yeah.
you want to call it.
Were you
Yeah.
doing well for yourself at that point? Like with the
I
construction?
was, I was I was doing pretty well in construction. We was doing great, but like I said, I never loved it. It was one of them things of like, I guess I'll do this.
That's always a hard part because you got to be happy. And I talk about it. I don't bash anybody, but one of our guys moved up north to get more money, which is fine. I'm never going to stop anybody from getting their bag. But he just, when he first came in, he was excited because he knew of what we did. He used to come and run parts and run little things a day or
Yeah.
two out of the week, right? And he's
Hmm.
like, I love this and that. But then I don't know, once he started, didn't seem super happy. And I was like, dude, if you don't like it, like you're never gonna be happy, right? So there's always that point, right? Like never gonna stop anybody from getting their bag if they want to go somewhere else, if they want to do something else. Because HVAC is not for everybody. I'm sure you
It's
understand that. So
it's
like when you
not.
got into it, it's kind of like a little reality check when you start dealing with customers, systems, all sorts of different problems. So as much as you see online for many of us that are like, give it a shot, try it out, the trades are great, it's not for everybody, and that's the reality that some people need to talk about, right? Because you're gonna have your good days and your bad days.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I believe you said this on one of your other episodes. HVAC is trending. HVAC is like can't be replaced by AI. It's going to be here forever, and all of those things are true. HVAC is like the
Yeah,
coolest and also the hottest trade you can ever get into. And
yeah,
everyone isn't built for the addicts. Everyone isn't built for the cross spaces, the long hours, the on calls. The disgruntled customers, and not because you're
yeah.
charging them a lot, but just because it's not something you can do right then and there, or just because you can't prioritize only their work. And like you're not the only person in the world that needs a seat, and everyone don't understand that.
No, and you need better customer service than I do because you deal with like people's homes and you're in their house, you're dealing with whatever they can afford. Like it's a little different of customer service from commercial to residential, but like for me, it's like, we can do what we can for you,
Hmm.
but at the end of the day, you might need a part, you might need a new system. This stuff has to be ordered. It's
Yeah.
something out of your control and they get upset. So like the part that I had to learn was customer service. I was
Hmm.
great when I got in, fixed what I needed to fix or
Right.
diagnosed it, ordered a part, whatever it was, and I got out
Right.
of there. I didn't even talk to anybody. But
Yep.
customer service, I didn't realize is like, up there with one of the most important things that you gotta
Yes.
master, you gotta learn, you gotta do all that. So disgruntled customers, that is like one of those
Yeah.
things that you're just not prepared for, right? They
You're
they
right.
will haggle you, they will hassle you, they will be all
Call your phone
sorts of rude to
anytime.
you. You cannot do any of that back to them.
No, not at all. Not at all. Like they said, you have to be the bigger person. But in a lot of my videos, I talk about how, like, either even coming out of school or learning a trade, everyone only focus on learning the system and mastering the system. But I'm like, also learn people and how to master communication.
So like, yeah, that's very important. So like the thing for me at the time, I felt like customer service related to salesperson. That was kind of the correlation that I had. So
Mm,
I was like, I don't want to be a salesperson, but it's not that. It's, treating your customers good
mm-hmm.
and making sure you look out for them.
Yes, yes. And at the same time, also being a translator because we know
Oh,
so
yeah.
many terms. We know why a transformer does this and does that with a TXV. If you start saying all that stuff to someone, they're gonna look at you crazy. Like, what are you talking about? So you have to break it down to them and say, hey, this is what this is for. This is why that is not doing that. And this is why I can't get it today,
Yeah.
or this is why I have to come back tomorrow. Like, no, I don't just keep a compressor on a truck,
I
you
know, and
know.
I see some guys that are like, but they're typically bigger companies, or even like I would watch Chris Stevens a lot, and he would do like overnight compressor change outs, and I'm like, dude, I don't want to be offering that. Like, I don't carry that stuff, but like he's a bigger company, they can do that kind of stuff. They charge for that stuff, and they get paid more in California. Obviously, I live in Texas where nobody wants to pay anything, so I always tell them like, yeah, we can do it because I've been asked like, do you work at night? Do you work overnight? Like, I'm like,
Right,
yeah. I was like, you're not gonna want to pay that fee, but I'll offer it to you,
right. Now, you're not gonna want to
or
pay it.
or to open up a supply house to get that part you need. Like, I can
Mhm.
come back tomorrow and it'll be way cheaper. Like, it's up to you.
Absolutely, absolutely. And everyone doesn't understand that. But while we're talking about the people never been a problem for me. The biggest problem for me has been their dogs. Man, I've
How
had
many? How
so
many? How many? Have come after you?
man. Just from what I can remember, two has bitten me. About four is coming after me. That's after telling them to take like, "Hey, put the dog up," like make
Do
the
they? Do
dog.
they tell you? Did they tell you, oh, they don't bite?
He's fine. I had someone telling me that while the dog is hanging from my hand. I'm like, can you get him? He don't
Jeez.
bite. He's biting right now.
Yeah. And I have one of my dogs is here with me right now. Like he won't harm anybody, but like he's a protective dog. Like I understand. Like when you're around, your family's around, like he's not going to do anything, but a stranger goes into your house, like they're full attack mode.
Yes, right. And the dog can't say like, "Hey, I don't know this guy," like
Yeah.
what's going on? He's fine. I would just prefer if you to put him up, while I'm down here on my hands and knees checking out this system or whatever.
Because I've seen some guys like on YouTube. I don't think they post anymore. I know I saw this one guy, like he was told the same thing. He walked around back and he started opening up the system and like it was quiet. Then all of a sudden a dog comes out of nowhere and he jumps on the unit. He's like, oh shit, like, oh my God. And I was like, oh man, I could never. Because around here, everybody has dogs. And I know like some areas that's all you see, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like those vicious big dogs and stuff.
Man, he's a big baby. He's like, no, I'm not trying to find out. I want no part of it,
You don't want to, you don't want to F around and find out on that sense.
No, not at all, And I got bit by one dog, and the lady said, well, what did you do him? I said, well, I'm doing AC, Like, what you mean?
Minding my own business.
Right, exactly. What you called me out here to do, So
is there ever any, because I don't know your clientele, but like, is there ever any that you have to just say, I'm not going to do this kind of job? Like, I'm not going to even step foot in.
I'm so happy you asked that question, man. So I had a client call me out and they said, it's a good friend of mine. Can you go check out the unit? I said, of course, I do all your work. Yeah, let's do it. And man, I get there and soon as they open the door, I'm talking about the most foul smell I ever smelled in my life. Like, I'm surprised it didn't knock me over. And then I just had to tell him, I called him like, hey, I appreciate all the work that you're sending me, but I can't go into that house. And I was like, why? What's going on? I said, it smells horrible. Like it smells as if like cats are just dead in it.
Oh, yeah.
Man. And it was like, well, it can't be that bad. Then they pull up and they open the door. They was like, wait, I'm so sorry. This is embarrassing. I have no idea. But it was actually another call out in there's a place, y'all, everybody know about New Orleans, but not many know about Araby, Louisiana. That's about 30 minutes away. I'm out there and the guy opened the door. Similar smell, but it wasn't as bad. So I'm like, all right, cool. This one might be manageable. I don't want to keep letting the people down. I go in there. They're like, in the attic, if you don't mind, there's a few cats. I said, a few cats in the attic. I pulled down the attic door and there was a big mama cat right there looking at me like, I wish you would come up here. And then it was, I forgot, she just had babies. I said, we're not doing this. We're not doing it.
Dude, I used to be terrified of cats.
Me too, because my grandparents had a cat and it was to block me into the room. And if I tried to leave out, like it'd just like scratch my feet. I never got along with cats.
Oh man, I was like, yeah, that's different. I was like, I ran into a stray cat one time. That's why I'm scared. But being locked in with one is a whole different thing.
Man, and then they said the same thing. Oh no, midnight is not nice at all.
Nah, like
I didn't like.
And I've seen some instances like that. Like Kurt HVAC guy on YouTube, like he does but he says yes to a lot of these things, right? He's working there in like sewage and I don't know what. I'm like, dude, I could never. But hats off because he tries to help a lot of customers out.
Yeah, and that's understandable. And like I run into some hoarder people and all that. As long as it's not like just like bodily fluid foul, like
or like the pet thing, right? Where they have like 20 cats and they just go everywhere. Like I've seen that before. When I was house hunting at one point, like, people were selling their house, but they were still living there. I was like, why didn't you just clean up? Because there was some houses I walked in, I walked out. I was like, it smells foul. There's like diapers on the floor. I'm like, dude, I mean, I don't want to judge anybody, but like there are some, you just don't know how they're living, but like there's just some like, you're like, and why?
You walk into people's houses and it's so clean and they say, excuse the mess, but the hoarder houses you walk into, no disclaimers, make yourself at home. It's like, no, I'm about to make myself.
You ever tell them to like clear a path for you for like the AC unit?
If I have to say that, I'm leaving.
You're not waiting?
No, 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 no. I'm not waiting. That's one of the perks of owning your own business, you know.
Yes.
But at the same time, I do go into the extreme of the other way. Like if someone is like, "Oh my gosh, I'm going to be 2 hours late. Can you still stay in the area and still work with me so my kids and my wife and I don't have to be in the heat?" It's like, okay, I can stick it out for you. You know, it's like I do own a business. I'll make those kind of adjustments for you.
Yeah, because like, and I've talked to different kinds of business owners, right? So like you said, you can make your choices, you can do what you want
Yeah.
because you're, self-employed, you have your own business. Because some people look at it like as a, like, how many hours did you work? Like your losses for the day, and like they go down to like every little thing. And I'm like, yeah,
Mhm.
like sometimes I'll do like free follow-ups. I'll do, like you said, you might stick around for a little bit. I've been at
Mhm.
places where they say they're gonna be there first thing in the morning. You gotta wait like a half hour, an hour, like, and like it doesn't make any sense for me to leave and then come back. So like I'll stick it
Yeah.
out. Like I do things like that, right? Or just like I said, check in with customers and do a
Right.
walkthrough here and there. And it's like I'm
Mhm.
not charging for everything that I do, but like it
Absolutely.
keeps my customers happy. It keeps more work coming in. You do a walkthrough, you do a follow up, you find something else wrong. There's other things you can do. And then I got people telling me like, oh, you should be charging for that. You're taking a loss here. You're taking a loss. I'm like, it's not always about every single dollar of the day.
Yeah, all of the time it's not, and I feel like a lot of people like us, we do a good job at it. It's like, yes, it has to make sense. I'm not about to take a total loss, but at the same
Yeah.
time, I'm not going to let the pennies make this person feel like they're unappreciated or make this person feel like they're just a number or an object. So you have to have the balance to it. You get what I'm saying? Like one day I felt horrible, man. A guy called me from social media, and by the way, that's how most of my work comes through. Coming from social media, like, man, I love
That's
everything you're
cool.
doing. I want you to come to the house. We're gonna get into that. And
That's
he
cool.
said, I want you to come to the house for maintenance for me. And I said, okay, cool. I'm slammed right now, but I'll make sure I get to you. And man, I had to cancel on him last minute. And I felt horrible. So I went there the next day, cleaned the condenser, cleaned the evaporator coils, made sure drain lines and everything was good to go. We were already in the area. I said, man, you found me on social media. And I said, forgetting about my clients is not how we do business. This one's on us. And just to add a little joke into it, I say, now if something break, you call me, I'm gonna charge you for that. But this one on
Yeah.
us. Like, we appreciate it. Thank you so much, man. And I know for a fact that I have a customer for life on that person.
Yeah, man. And like the only thing that I would not want to take a loss on is like any expensive parts, right? Like I'm not going to
Yes.
be installing something and not getting paid. Like that is understandable. But like my time, especially as an
Mhm.
owner, if I go help one of my techs, if I go help or maybe speed things up,
Yeah.
stop by and help somebody out
Yeah.
or do, like I said, like a walkthrough or anything, like I'm not charging for two people, but I'm going to be there just to kind of help them out and get them going, get to the next call, whatever it is. So there's little things like that. And I try to tell people, I'm like, dude, like, we make so much money a day. I think we can kind of take those little, I guess, losses here and there. But at the end of the day, we've had customers that have been with us for the whole 19 years, customers that several of them actually, customers that appreciate the work that we do, the
Mhm.
time that we put into it, explaining everything, going over everything with them. And they drop companies to call us. Like there's different ways to go around it or go about it. And at the end of the day, like I mentioned, customer service, super important.
Mhm.
Are they comfortable with you enough to keep calling you back?
Yes, absolutely. Now that word comfortable, I love that word. And now we're about to jump into the content side of it. Now, I always tell people when you're making content, especially when you're making content like how I do, because I'm not doing super technical TXVs. I'm not telling you how to swap a capacitor. I'm not telling you any of that. The whole purpose of me making this content is when homeowners, potential owners, investors see me, I need them to say, okay, I'm comfortable with this guy. I like this guy. I like what he's saying. Like I'm not in the content dropping F-bombs, bleep this, bleep that, and this house was so disgusting. I don't like this homeowner. It's like, no, we're gonna tell a story, and every single video you get to know me a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. So now by the time they call me and I show up to their house, they're like, what's up, David? Yeah, do whatever you need to do. Let me know. Let me know how much it costs. We're good. And I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
cool. Just like that, because they're comfortable now. You're not an AC guy anymore. You're David.
Yeah. Cause some people, and I've been DM'd by anonymous people, like how are these kids getting, or not kids, like how are
Mhm.
content creators in general getting away with swearing and calling out people? And I'm like,
And
yeah, yeah, or like
it's,
joking about like scamming people, like yeah, like I wouldn't do that, right? And
you
I
know,
and I've been asked now that we're hiring and we have people like when I do my little Q&As, like they'll be like, how do you feel about your guys doing content? I'm like, it's fine as long as they're not disrespectful to the customer, they're not showing too much of them. Like, I don't want a customer to be upset that they're like on camera and they're making fun of them or anything, right? Like, I don't want that kind of disrespect going on. I was like, anything else, it's fine. And if they do something
mhm.
wrong on camera, that's for the internet to roast them and for me to get
Yep,
after them. So
yep,
that's a whole other story, but I
yep.
have no issue. I have no issue as long as you're respectful and you kind of watch what you say on social media. Not that you shouldn't show everything. I like when people show the good and the bad, but
Mhm.
you don't want to be there making fun of your customers, making fun of your clientele, doing all this
For
other stuff.
sure.
Like the internet is forever. I know I've said some
Yes.
things here and there. I've ranted, but like
Hmm.
keep in mind the internet is forever. Like you're going to have that reputation just like in real life, right? You build that reputation. You don't want to ruin it on social media.
Yep. That's the absolute truth. And another thing is if potential clients see you roasting and talking bad the clients you already have, talking bad about them, no one wants to say, okay, I want to be blasting online and they talk about my home and they show my address, they show my driveway, they show my, so if you ever notice anything I ever show, it's like you can never identify that place. And that's always on purpose.
That's
You
one of
get what
my
I'm saying?
rules too. Yeah, I will
Yeah.
never show the
No.
restaurant name, the
Yeah.
address,
Yeah.
nobody's faces, nobody's uniforms. Like that is my one rule, and that's a rule that I will give my guys if they ever do content, because I don't want them to feel any certain way. Like, because like
Mhm.
I do. I mean, I'm sure you've seen stuff, but like I do commercials, so like there's places that have pest problems. They've this and that. They might have something that they neglected, and it's like I me as a technician, my job is to do what I'm there to, to fix or whatever. But then I always tell them like, hey, you might want to take care of this pest problem you
Yep.
have here. You might want to clean this up, or you have some product that's going bad, or like I do
Mhm.
my part in helping them out if they forgot to do something, whatever, they have a problem. And I even have one right now that called us back, and he's like, yeah, we're starting to do maintenance for them, and he's like, please let me know what locations have pest problems. Please let me know what other problems you see. I just want to make sure that they're addressed. Like they
Mhm.
have all the right intentions. There's no reason to blast them online for this kind of stuff.
None at all, and you can guarantee that you will never be called back
Yeah.
by that company or client just to try to get some internet clout.
Well, you know what's funny
Speaking,
is like you said so do you do any marketing for yourself online, or is it like through your content
so
solely?
everything online right now is 100% content. Like I've curated it and detailed it to the point to where it's like it's hitting heavy in my community. You get what I'm
Okay.
saying? And not
Do you
bragging or
like
anything.
do you like tag locations or do anything special?
Yeah, tag location. We can get into it actually. We can break down the science of it, because like I say, this is without getting on like any big and local influencer platforms or anything like that. This is just being very detailed and making sure that I'm hitting the person that's up the street, around the corner, uptown, downtown. Like I don't care about going viral in Maryland or
Yeah,
going
I
viral.
always tell people, yeah. Like
It's like
like
it's
if you go viral, you hit, places that you're never going to service, but if you can kind of cuz I started doing that too, like kind of but I just recently made the conversion of trying to use my platform for my business because I wasn't doing that before. So like yeah, now we do the locations all the time. We do like the hashtags if we can, like whatever you can do. And the only reason I'm asking also is because even just doing social media, like the algorithm is going to find people
yeah.
for you, right? Because I wasn't trying to, because I was just doing videos for everybody. But I
Mhm.
have, and another reason I'm careful is I have managers and owners that I go to these restaurants and they're like, hey, I've seen your videos. I'm like, oh, crap. Okay.
Don't like to see anything crazy,
Yeah.
right?
So, like, even more so, I'm like, yeah, I never want to say anything bad about anybody because you never know who comes across your videos. I've had, like I said, managers, workers, owners that are like, hey, I like your videos. I've seen you
Yes.
online. I'm like, wow, okay.
Something else that is very important is like a very important rule for me is like don't say anything offensive, no cursing, no calling anyone out, no making anyone feel bad because it's at the point now where it's like every day someone is seeing me out in public and was like, hey, I know you, and I
Yeah.
don't know them. So it's like I need to keep everything friendly and neutral. So no matter who sees me, I know that it's all love at all times. You get what I'm saying?
Do you
So
get stopped at
that's
like the supply houses or anything?
so the supply house. I had someone come up and hug me at a supply house recently. I'm ordering at the counter, and the guy just walked behind me. He was like, "Oh my gosh, I love your content so much." And I'm like, "What in the world is going?" And like I wasn't trying to be rude, but I was in the middle of ordering, and then when I finished ordering, I turned around. I was like, "What's going on, man?" And I said, "What's your name?" And they were just talking about
Yeah.
HVAC. I try to give people that experience and that time with not to sound bad, but that time and experience with David Davori because it's like I see you online all the time. It's like this is my moment to really connect with you and talk to you. So like I give them that.
Yeah, you don't want to be like
No.
super off-putting like in person because a lot of these people, and I just ran into somebody like the other day at the supply house, like, hey, like, love your videos, this and that. So we were talking about like, what he had going on for work and stuff. And I was waiting for my part, so I had some time. But he also happened to say that his dad knows my dad, like they used to work together. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Like there was a little connection there, right? And I was like, that's awesome. And it's just some of these people just follow you just because you do the same thing, but some of them follow you for advice or to help them out. Maybe you help them out with something that you posted, right? You never know. So like, yeah, if you see somebody in person, you kind of want to take the time to talk to them because they could be one of your biggest supporters. And like without them, we don't get
Yes.
to be,
Really.
what we are on social media,
Really.
whether you having your videos pop off, you have companies that you work with, like none of that is possible without these people watching or,
Absolutely. It
supporting
doesn't
you.
matter.
Yeah.
And we always see the notifications always come to the phone. 100,000 people like the video, 10,000 people comment, and it's like, okay, right there is just numbers. But when you're out in public and people coming up to you and embracing you, it's like, okay, you are a part of those 100,000 and the 10,000 comments. And recently I had a young man come up. I'm saying young man like I'm 50. This guy was probably in his 20s as well. He he came up to me. He was like,
Wait, how old are you?
I'm 28.
All right. Well, you're in a good position. I'm almost 40 over here.
I'm saying young man. So I'm 28. This guy was probably 22 or 23, and he came up to me. He was like across the parking lot. He was like, "Hey, yo." I'm like, he can't be talking to me. He has to be talking to somebody else. So then I said, just in case, just so he don't feel ignored, I asked him, I said, "You talking to me?" He was like, "Yes, man. I love your videos. I love your content." And he just had some super detailed questions. And I said, "You know what? Let me give you these 10 minutes. You get what I'm saying?" And he was just asking me about pricing a job and how to get the confidence to even do the job. And he was like, "Man, I graduated HVAC school. I put the word out, and now people want me to do their installs, but like I don't feel ready." I said, and I gave him the best advice ever. I said, "You're never gonna feel ready. It's just one of them things that you're
Yeah.
just gonna have to do, tackle, learn from it, mess up, fall through the attic. I'm like, these things are just gonna have to happen." And
Didn't
then
that
it's like,
just didn't that just happen?
yeah, it literally did.
Was
So
it you?
not
It
to
was you, right? You
it was
fell.
me. Yeah, I feel. So not to be all theatrical and stuff, but I'm trying to get to the other part of the attic and I grab onto like the rafter, right? I'm like, oh yeah, this is sturdy. So I take the step and then the rafter fall. Boom, hit me in the back of the head. Then I fall through the attic,
Oh
you
my
know?
God.
So I didn't have time to explain all that in the video. So I'm like, I just fell through the people's ceiling, but they were
You
super nice.
you got every bit of that house. You got hit in the head. You got knocked through the
Right.
ceiling.
Right. And the
How'd you
part of
how'd
the
you feel?
scene
How'd you feel after that?
afterward, so they had kids in the house. So the first thing that I did was I said, "Are the kids okay?" And the kids were laughing. So I said, "Okay, if they laughing, we good." That's all I said. They okay. Everybody else, they're grown. As long as the kids are right. And then next thing I did, I just called the driver like, "Hey, I need you. How soon
Yeah.
can you get here?" And like I'm on my way. So that was a
Oh
nice
yeah,
little.
your message in that one was like always have a good drywall guy, and believe me, you need people from other trades on speed dial at any point.
Mhm.
Electricians, drywall guys, all these people.
Yes, yes, and it's the same with a siding crew. They always call me. hey David, where you? Yeah, we just hit a line. And I can
Oh
hear that.
yeah.
Come on over.
So any injuries on that one, or you're good?
No, it was no injuries. Thank God. Like the next day I had a little hump on back of my head, but my hair covered it up, so it was all right. And
Just back to work?
but just back to work. It was a great learning experience for my apprentice as well. Cause she was like, "Oh my gosh, you fell through the ceiling!" Like, I'm like, look, it's not about what happens. It's just about how you get back up and running, and how you just let them know everything is okay. I tell people, don't try to avoid the mistakes because they're going to happen. It's just about like, okay, how are you going to fix it? Something's going to happen.
Always, yeah.
That that that's
How many guys do you have working with you?
Yeah. So right now it's just my apprentice and I.
Okay.
Yeah,
You guys are able to knock out just with you
yeah.
two?
Yeah, yep. We roll, man. Sometimes we roll too hard, but we roll. We get it done. Sometimes I feel
Yeah, it's summer right now. That's all I was telling you. I was like, if you have time, we can do that today, because I feel like everybody's been ramping up right now. But
like,
it brings me back to like I miss those days when it was just me and my dad. Like we were running everywhere. We were doing everything ourselves. And it's a very different feeling, very weird feeling now that I have technicians and I don't have to do everything. I don't have to do all the brazing, all the commissioning, setting everything in place. Like I have help. So it's been
yeah.
really cool.
Yeah, it's a part of the growth, It's like you come up as a technician and they're like, this is what I do, this is who I am. It's like, let me get in and knock it out. But it's like, no, hand it off to you guys now. You do more of the administrative stuff, more of the boring business owner stuff. But as
Hey,
you
your
grow, it happens.
business, yeah, I was like, your business will never grow if you're just trying to do everything yourself. Cause I had to learn that too.
Mm,
My dad opened up the business. Now he opened it
yeah.
up as a commercial kitchen service type of deal. So he only does like cooking equipment, stoves, fryers. So I came in hot with the HVAC because he's like, I need an HVAC guy. I need a
Mm,
refrigeration guy. And again, just getting into it, learning by mistake. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I did work. So when I got my license, I had to get it through a residential guy. So like
yeah.
when I went with him or when I did anything with him, like it had nothing to do with what I was actually going to be doing in my business. Right. So when I
Hmm.
finally got over here, just messing up left and right, like learning from mistakes and dealing with
Yeah.
customers, upset customers, like a lot of experience right in the beginning. And you learn from that. Like you said, you have to find a solution to everything. You're the problem solver, whether it's
Mhm.
technical with the system or it's diffusing a scenario with a customer, right? Like those are skills that you need when you run a
Mhm.
business. And I tell my
Yeah.
guys right now too, like, be respectful, explain to them what's going on. If there's any pushback, that's where I come in. I'll talk to them.
Yep. Yep.
And yeah, I've just been now like training, trying to get them going, giving them the little tips that would have helped me when I started,
Yep.
so they don't have to do all these mistakes that I did before. And just trying to build it up and focus myself when I'm like billing
Yeah.
and taking in new customers and all that kind of stuff, so that they can actually just knock out the work.
Yeah, let them knock out the work, which is the fun part. Is like, because at times I find myself doing that too. My wife helped me out a lot on the administrative side. But there's some things that I still have to step in and do, and they're like, man, this part is so boring. But I know inevitably I'm going to have to get out the field. It's like I want to get out the field. Eventually I plan on firing myself. And giving it to
Yep.
someone that can do it 10 times better. But that's just part of growth.
Oh, yeah, man. Cause like nothing on the business side is fun. Like there's nothing fun about it. I hate doing
Mhm.
it. I give myself excuses to go out in the field. Like I got to be there. I got to do this. And I
Right.
get myself out of the office. But
Yep.
then everything gets behind, all the paperwork, all the billing. I'm like, damn. So I got to get back in the office. So trying to
Yep.
find that balance has been difficult. Like I think a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of people that start their own business after being a technician and all that, like that's the fun part, is like doing your own installs, doing your own service, being your own boss. Like you do everything, but you can
Yep.
only do so much for a certain amount of time. Like once you start
Mhm.
growing, once you get overwhelmed, like I've had so many times where I just have way too many calls and
And
it's like,
speaking of mistakes, I didn't mean to cut you off, but speaking of mistakes, another interesting fact is before I went into HVAC myself, I never worked HVAC for another company. So I was never a technician for a residential or commercial or anything like that.
any schooling? Did you do any of
So
that?
no schooling, no schooling. But before the whole world called me a hack, my cousins owned HVAC companies, and I would tag along with them
Mm.
at times. But it was never like any formal schooling. It was never like any employment with HVAC companies. And now I will say, during those days of DoorDash and grocery delivery, I'm going to every AC plumbing and heating company. Like, will y'all hire me? You don't have to pay
Mm.
me much at all. Just bring me on. Just bring me on. And they're like, nah, we're fine. Nah, we don't need anyone right now. Tried to go union. I know some people say that's a bad word. Hope they don't cancel me. I tried to go union and I tried to join everything. And it just really came down to having the ultimate faith in myself, but also in God. And it was like, look, I'm setting you up so you can have everything on your own, so you can have your own business. And I was extremely scared. I'm like, man, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. But day by day, you learn, you make mistakes, you get back up. You pierce someone's copper line, you fix it.
Oh,
You focus on the drywall. You know,
yeah. Yeah, and I've
that
done that too because I do a lot of like smaller equipment. So learned real quick that burning up or heating up a bigger size copper line to a smaller one, you're gonna burn through it real quick. So I've messed up so many line sets when I started making leaks worse. It
yes,
happens.
making leaks worse, not finding leaks, just filling up systems, and they calling you back. Like, I just spent such and such amount with you, and it's not working. You are calming so many storms. But it's all
Yeah.
part of the learning experience.
So then you just didn't have luck getting a job when
No.
you were starting out because I've heard that too, and it's like everybody wants experience or
Mm-mm.
there's a lot of small companies don't have the room to put anybody on, and
Yeah.
it's
And
difficult for a lot of guys. So
it
you
was.
you were able to
I
ride along with your relatives, you said, right, and learn a little
mhm.
bit, and then you just kind of jumped into it.
Yeah, I was able to ride along with them and learn so much. But another thing that helped me out a lot, YouTube, YouTube, YouTube. And like, if I wasn't in the field, I'm watching someone who is in the field. Okay, what tools do I need? What products do I need? Like what is the timing of this? A lot of the mistakes that they was making on YouTube, I try to avoid. Did I make some of them
Yeah,
too? Absolutely. But YouTube University saved me many times, from before I was in the field to in the field to even when I'm at home now. I'm like, you know what, let's just put it on and let it run.
yeah,
And as you know about this trade, you're gonna learn every day.
yeah. So how long have you been doing HVAC
Yeah.
like in its
So
entirety?
so I've been doing HVAC. It's crazy because some people gonna think I'm lying. I got my license and I'm horrible with dates. I got my mechanical license in early 2025. Yes, early
Oh, okay.
2025, February 17th, 2025. And like I say, I was a GC before in my life, so I tried to bring over a lot of those connections and clients that I had. Very few came over because, like I said, the purpose and point of that point in life was start completely over. So no connections from parents in the past, no connections from who I used to be or what I used to have. It was like start over, clean slate. It was extremely hard, but now it's built on solid foundation. So I got my license February of 25. Started doing social media. I'm like, let me just drop little videos here and there, here and there. I tried the ones in a truck just talking like these are 5 things you need to do. All of those flop. you know. Then I just took some videos from the field. I voiced over it, and I remember the first one that went viral. I did a video about how they were trying to scam this lady and tell her she needed a whole new unit, and they were going to charge her $40,000 for it because the unit was froze up. And I told her, I said, "Ma'am, you don't have to spend $40,000. We're going to find a leak, seal it up." And I posted that video, and I just see it doing $500,000, a million, 2 million. Comments are coming through. People are calling me some of the nicest things ever and some of the meanest things ever at the same time. And I'm like, "Man, what is going on?" Then the video hit 5 million, 7 million, and now the video is sitting at 12 million views. And I'm like, whoa, okay. And I told my wife, I was like, I think we're on to something with this content stuff. And then I just start putting more of my personal touches on it, a lot of the B-roll, little funny clips here and there. And now people are like, "Man, you're so funny. I want you to do my AC."
Well, that there's a lot of value in that because you're being authentic and your real life content is doing well. Because we talked about being trendy earlier. Like sometimes people do the trends, people do the viral stuff, and
Yes.
what does that do for you, right? Like it's better to show your real work, your real life, your ups and downs or anything like that, or your
Mhm.
stories, and if that pops off, then you're all good because
Absolutely.
that's real world scenarios, real stuff out there. So that's actually who you are that you're putting out on
Yeah.
social media.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, when they fall in love with you, it's like you're gonna be who you are forever. You know what I'm saying? We're all grown now. You are who you are. But when they fall in love with you just because of the dance or the trend or the song, that's here today, gone tomorrow. We know how that goes,
Yeah.
you know. But
Yeah, I've
also,
done a few different content. I used to do the meme stuff, but I got so tired of
okay,
it. And
yeah,
that's kind of what was in at the time, but then I was like, I just want to post like what I want to post. That's why I said earlier like it's whatever you enjoy doing. Like that's what you should be doing
mhm,
as your social media cuz then that's what you're
mhm.
going to be known for.
Yep. That's what you're going to be known for. And another gem that I'm going to drop right here as far as content is everyone that does HVAC or plumbing or electrical, they want to be known as just that. Also make your personal brand. It was a very strategic reason that I didn't name myself David the AC guy or just Davori AC. Is like because no one cares about David the AC guy. They only care about you when you want AC. But David Davori, we know him personally. It's like even if I go a while and I don't post, people are still gonna check in like, hey, you good? You all right? You straight? Because like we love you, the person, not only what you can do. So that's a huge gem.
That that's true because I a while back quietly changed most of my handles to my name because
Hmm.
I didn't want to be known as just reliable HVAC,
Yes.
which is fine. Like I don't mind it. Um,
Yes.
Even in person, I have people like, "Oh, hey, reliable, this and that." Like it's
Yeah.
whatever because our company name is Reliable Kitchen, and then
Uh-huh.
I had to be HVAC, so I was Reliable HVAC online, right? But I quietly a while back, and people were asking me about it. I was like, yeah, I don't want to be known as that. I want you
Hmm.
to know like who Adrian is. So
Yes.
that's why I quietly changed it. And I still have Reliable in my Instagram because
Yeah.
it's easier for brands when I work with them. But like my name
Right.
is there front and center, right? So I've done that too. I've seen some of the new guys do that too. And I'm like, that's a good way to do it because I hate the one thing, like I love the community. I've been to AHR and seeing everybody in person. I just hate when I don't know their name. I'm like, I know your screen name or I know a
Right.
photo, like a logo, but I want to know
Hmm.
who they are. So I always try to make it a point to know everybody's
Yeah.
name, right? Like they have a username, but what is their name? I always
Yeah.
ask, I always try to do that. So I always refer to everybody by their actual name.
And another thing is tell your story. You get what I'm saying? Like, is it embarrassing to come online and tell everyone how I lost everything and had to start over? It's like, in a way, yeah, but that's my story. It's something that I really been through, and I make sure to tell those stories because there's people who's going through that like
Oh yeah.
now. We watch this, is gonna be like, dang, okay, I'm not alone. You get what I'm saying? Like people have been through it, came back and have 10 times more than what
You
they
would
had before.
be surprised at the amount of success that some people have and compared to where they've been. It
Mhm.
is crazy because I've like doing this podcast, I get to know some people and like guys that come from other countries and don't know anything
Yes.
and they fall into HVAC and they're like one of the best technicians that I know.
Yeah.
Guys that are
Absolutely.
homeless, guys that are in trouble with the law, like they were, and like you said, like now we're grown, but maybe they were in trouble as kids or early on in life, or like I said, Walter WWHVAC was homeless for a while, and like he has his own business. Like you don't
Yeah.
your past doesn't set what your goals are, what your ceiling is, any of that stuff. Like you can make whatever you want of it. And I've just been amazed with some of the stories that I heard because, personally I was never super well off. I was never the poorest of poor, but my parents made it work. My parents both
Mhm.
worked. My mom worked multiple jobs. My dad was like an electrician. Then he worked at a hospital and worked graveyard shift. Like I remember all that stuff. And then seeing him build himself as a food service technician, not
Mhm.
knowing any of that stuff,
Yeah.
is what I kind of did in when I was ready to get into HVAC. Like I remembered, okay, read all the textbooks, read all the manuals, study when you're not working, all this other stuff, all the work ethic is what I picked up from him. And, that was kind of my experience getting into it. But like you said, the reason I do this podcast is because if you're able to tell your story, like what you're talking about, like losing, stolen, whatever it is, and
Right.
starting over and
Yep.
having what you have now, somebody else could be going through that. There's so many unique stories, but they're relatable.
Yeah. No, absolutely, man. Like at the time, I thought I was on top of the world. I had two trucks. I had a Cummins deleted, and that was the biggest thing in the world. I had a nice GMC Sierra, and then all that happened, and life just seemed like it was just plummeting down. Like everything was just being taken away. I was just losing it all, But it was really just going through a time in life where it's like I need to rebuild you back up. You get what I'm saying?
Do you still splurge now? Do you have the fancy trucks and
No,
everything?
no, no. I have a
I'm the same.
I don't splurge. That's for sure, man. When you have to like be at the point to where you have two vehicles and then like it's whatever, and then life just rapidly bring you to a point to where you're doing DoorDash. It's like what?
Well, yeah. Well, you're in between stage. So, like, you said you and your wife were both kind of trying to do the DoorDash. You said Amazon too, right? Like odd end
Yep.
jobs. Were you?
Amazon, grocery delivery, and like you're just
Oh,
praying that people just like tip you $10 because at that
yeah.
time that's like a big deal. You get what I'm saying now? And so a lot of principles from that time of life it stick with me because when you're doing so well at such a young age, you forget that like it's not like this for everybody. You get what I'm saying? Like it's like there are some people going through some real tough times and I never record it or show it, but anytime I see somebody doing DoorDash, whatever cash I have with me, I'm like, take it. That's for you. Because I know for a fact, if you had the choice to be doing anything else in the world right now, it wouldn't be this. You wouldn't be driving anyone for
Yeah.
a couple dollar tips.
Yeah, it's a little different and to both points because like when I was younger, I didn't tip much or at all, and now I try to tip. I try to tip a good amount because those people are working for those tips, right? That's what they live off of, and it's
Really?
just a change in how you think when you get older. And the same thing because I asked about the splurging because there's people that's their whole life. Like they buy Lamborghinis, big new trucks, they buy all this other stuff. And I'm like, you know
Right.
what? Like when I was younger, I liked sports cars and all this other stuff. And I bought rims for my cars. Like I had sound systems. Like I did everything to the cars that I had. And I was proud
Mhm.
of it at the time because it was my own money that I was, I could do whatever I wanted with it. I moved out quickly too soon after
Mhm.
high school because I wanted my own space. Like I was very good at managing my money because I didn't make much, but I was able
Okay.
to rent and buy a car and all that kind of stuff and
Uh-huh.
trick it out and had the rims and everything. So like I was all about that.
Right.
Now it's like I had a beat up old SUV for a while. I just got a truck because I
Okay.
needed it, but
Yeah.
like beat up old SUV. I don't buy anything for myself and I'm doing well or we're doing really well right now with the business, but like all that money goes back into like the kids or, me and my girl like taking vacations or doing something else that we can actually enjoy, not some eye candy in the driveway.
Yep.
And thank you for watching and listening. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. This episode ran way longer and I did not want to cut anything out. I think it was really good information for everybody to listen to. So this is part one. Come back in a few days for part two of this episode and hear David and I talk about business tips, family, and just the hustle and grind that, obviously that we've both been through building up our businesses.